36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's mostly sunny and 72 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Duke's Real Mayo.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about good mayo, Duke's Mayo. It'll make any dish sing. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I said good day, sir. It is the Chris and Amy Show. It's Amy and Chris and Amy. And we're with you until 12 o'clock today. Then it's the Gas House Gang. Plenty to talk about on that show with Tom Ackerman. But up until then, we've got a lot to get into with you. And we want to hear from you. 314-436-7900 to call and text. If you would like to leave us a voice message, we'd love to hear from you. That you can do directly from the Odyssey app. Just tap the button, record your message, and send it to us. And maybe we will play it on the show. And if you want to watch us, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, it's not going great for the Cardinals lately. They lose another one to Anaheim last night, and that makes it now 4 in a row. They will play this afternoon just after 3 o'clock. So some afternoon baseball on KMOX.
But things are going well in Kansas City, and now that the World Cup is over, how did Kansas City do? We'll talk with Mayor Quinton Lucas this morning at 10.
And it is earnings season. We all love earnings season. And what are we learning about the economy? We are going to talk to Dave Simons. He will join the show today at 11 o'clock. And we always love our conversations with him. He is full of insights and knowledge. And he could tell us how things are going, where we're going, and if everything's going to fall apart. By the way, I said it was 4 losses in a row, 3 for the Cardinals. But they've lost 4 of their last 5, I should mention.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
It feels like they've lost 20, to be honest. I think when the losses are bad, and 2 of the last...
I take it back. No, I'm scrap what I just said. It is. It's 5 of 6 they've lost. They have lost 4 in a row.
That's what I said.
Saturday, Sunday... Monday, and then last night. So, dang, man, it's not going great lately. But we'll see what happens. And this is a series they should have won. This is definitely a series. The Angels stink. This is the kind of series you got to win.
Win trailing. And we said this yesterday, but the Angels win trailing going into the 9th inning had lost 106 games, which in a row. Which was by far the longest active streak in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And that streak was ended with a hit-by-pitch walk-off win.
Yeah, so not going great.
Which, to be fair, the Angels fans were actually upset about because they're like, oh, we can't even win with a hit.
Remember when the Sox were terrible? They broke the loss record a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
There were White Sox fans actively rooting for them to keep losing. They wanted that record. They were like, hey, if we're going to lose, let's lose spectacularly.
Yeah, because they didn't even lose right. They couldn't even lose in the best way.
But they did.
Yeah.
They broke the record. Congratulations to them. So, we are going to talk to Mayor Quinton Lucas from Kansas City. Very interested to get his thoughts on the World Cup because we talked about the reporting coming from Kansas City in the early days of the tournament that some of the businesses were saying, hey, where's the business? We heard we were going to get an influx of people coming in here, but no one's coming to our stores. Nobody's coming to our bars and restaurants, and they were planning for it. They stocked up for it. So we'll talk to the mayor about that and see what the ultimate result of the World Cup coming through is.
They should have used our suggested Missouri slogan to bring new businesses and companies to Missouri, the Show Me State. Our suggested slogan was, show me your business.
Yeah, show me your business, which I thought was a good one.
I thought that was a great one.
And, I think just we're always here on the show talking about St. Louis, its place in the region, its place in the country, whether or not it's doing well. What should we celebrate? Are we not celebrating enough? Oh, this bad thing just happened, so now we're talking about that. It always feels like, for me, on a day-to-day when it comes to St. Louis, I'm not sure what I feel about the city. And not just the city proper. I mean the whole thing, the city, suburbs, everything, the immediate area. It's like, hey, this is a great day for St. Louis. We can celebrate this. This event came to town. We did really well with this. Oh, I love it. Oh, here's another thing. The next day, businesses are leaving. And we know here's the reporting that people are not staying in the area, that they're relocating to elsewhere or whatever. It's always like an up and down for us.
Well, and I do think that's because directions aren't simply linear in the sense that when you look at your city's trajectory, every city is going to have wins and losses along the way. But what matters are the friends you make. No, but what matters, is your city overall going in the right direction? And St. Louis is definitely experiencing some big wins along the way and some losses, but some big wins. But I'm not convinced we're moving in the right direction. I mean, we've talked about demographically, we're headed into a demographic winter. We're hemorrhaging residents. We're losing businesses. We're losing businesses that have been here for decades upon decades. That's not good. We've got empty buildings. So we've got empty buildings that have been empty, that used to be filled of people, with workers. Even as I think Bill McClellan pointed out in his column last year or a year and a half ago, we used to have people standing on the sidewalk smoking, maybe having happy hour after the workday. You don't see that anymore. You don't see people gathered on the street corners. You don't see workers who are taking a break from their 9 to 5 because they're just not there because the buildings are empty. So I think we have to be very, very intentional that, yes, we're experiencing wins and losses on a day-to-day basis, but are we moving in the right direction overall? I don't
And again,
know.
it's not just St. Louis City. It's St. Louis County, too. Lost population over the last 5 years, about 8% it is down. So it's not like it's just the city that has its problems. It's a greater part of this listening area. I know we like to trash downtown all the time and trash the city proper of St. Louis, but it's not just us, man. It's kind of all over. I mean, maybe St. Charles is growing a little bit.
It's all over our area, but then cities in general are struggling. Yes, I think there was a piece
nationwide,
a piece in the Wall Street Journal that I think the highest number of vacant buildings per capita, whatever the rate would be, is actually Denver, which is wild to me because Colorado is growing, but the work from home, cities never really recovered from COVID in that way. Maybe New York City did because New York is New York, but everyone else is really struggling. So Jason Bachman, he's the co-founder of Strange Donuts. He also owns World's Fair Donuts and BT Furnishings, and he's a co-founder of Up Late. I was just at World's Fair Donuts. He was interviewed in the St. Louis Business Journal by James Drew, and this story dropped yesterday. And James Drew of the Business Journal asked Bachman the question, how is St. Louis doing? And the answer was interesting. Bachman, again, who owns World's Fair Donuts and is a co-founder of Strange Donuts, says, I think St. Louis is losing. I hate to be the person to say this. I was at a furniture convention in Indianapolis, and this lady from Indianapolis said to me, Indianapolis, within the next 5 years, aims to be the youth sports tournament capital of the United States. That's a very specific goal. I went to Indianapolis a few weeks ago, going to my friend's house. I passed 10 sports complexes. I just started asking people willy-nilly at a donut shop, at a restaurant, at a hotel, what's up with Indianapolis? And to a person, and I'm not exaggerating this, the gas station worker, the hotel clerk, the cop says Indianapolis aims to be the youth sports tournament capital of the United States. They all have a very specific pointed answer, and they are all rowing in the same direction. He continues, I think when we come to St. Louis, we do not know who or what we are, and that's a problem. I don't think there's leadership that has a specific answer to lay down a plan to say, this is who we are. I love St. Louis. I love that it's accessible and affordable, and I can get some of the best food. I can go to cultural events, whether it be the symphony, a baseball game, or the soccer game, or the blues, or I can see awesome concerts. But if you even look at concerts, the big shows that you want to see, You've got to go to Kansas City now. They're not coming here. Other people do not see us the way we see ourselves, and we have to admit that. Again, that's Jason Bachman, what I just read in the St. Louis Business Journal.
So I think the most important thing he said there, and again, this is one person's opinion based on what he saw when he traveled to Indianapolis. I've been to Indy. I think it's fine. I don't have this opinion
Which is so
of it.
interesting because I've been to Indy, I don't know,
You
a
think it's
dozen
great.
times.
I think it's okay.
Not like it's great, like it's the greatest city in America. What I'm saying is Indy has exploded and has done so well, and we should have been that, and they are light years ahead of us. And I mean, I've been there a dozen times in the past 5 years.
I would disagree with light years. I think they're probably ahead of us. Again, I've been there. I think it's fine. I think Indianapolis is fine. The point I want to make here is what he said about us not being on the same page. I think there is an attitude in this area, whether it's in the city or in the county or even further out, in Jeffco or in St. Charles. We're not all on the same page. I think there are people who live in the city or close to the city, live in the county, who do want to do well, and they want this city to improve and are maybe working on it to actually get better. But I don't know that I feel like part of our issue is, and I do think our attitude holds us back, and this goes back decades and generations. I don't think this is a new development, and I don't think it's just about current city leadership. I just think our region here, our immediate region, we're so disconnected. And yeah, we like to talk about how great things are, but we also really like to trash ourselves too. We love to trash St. Louis City. People love it. People in the county love to do it. People in St. Charles love to do it. They love to talk about how bad St. Louis is. There is not a feeling of pulling on the same rope in the same direction.
Well, we're not rowing in the same direction. I agree. I will say, I'm not going to ascribe bad or hateful intentions to everyone out in the county or in St. Charles. I don't think. I
didn't say everyone. I'm saying that it's not. We are not on the same page.
We're not on the same page.
People who live further west or north or south, they like to say, St. Louis needs to get its act together, but they don't want to be part of the solution. They just want to say, get your crap together, and then maybe we'll come downtown and hang out.
But I will say that I don't think that division is simply the county versus the city. Within the city, it's divided. You have factions frustrated with the north against the south or the south against downtown or what have you. I do think even within the county, we're very divided overall. We're so spread out. Even St. Louis County, the way it looks at St. Charles County, and St. Charles County, the way it looks at St. Louis, the way it looks at Franklin County. I really think we tend to be pretty darn divided overall.
Well, what is Indianapolis? What have they done? Like what Nashville has done and what most of the similarly sized cities in our area have done. They've all joined forces. So, and our city-county divide and the fact that we have all these municipalities is nuts. Nothing will be fixed in this city or in this region until we fix that problem first.
Nate Gatter texted, and he agrees with me. Like I said, I used the term light years, and Nate Gatter said downtown Indy is unquestionably light years ahead of us.
That's fine. You guys have that opinion. I'm just saying that I don't agree it's light. I think it's better. I don't think it's light years ahead of us.
They're hosting Super Bowls and Final Fours, and they do have billions of dollars more in tourism than we do.
They have a football team still. They didn't have an owner who said, I'm leaving town because I've got a team in L.A., that I've got a space in L.A., I'm going to go build a stadium. That's not the city's fault.
But it's also...
If we still had a football team here, we might have a Super Bowl.
Right, but it's not Indy's fault that they still have a football team. I guess that's my point is it's not saying, I'm not hating on St. Louis by saying Indy is light years ahead of us. I just see it and I think, man, I wish we could be that. And with them having the NCAA headquarters there, when you walk around downtown Indy, I can tell you what, there are people and there are cars. And that alone makes downtown Indy very different than downtown St. Louis.
That's fine. I just don't think... I think maybe we're talking about light years and the difference in how much better than St. Louis it is, which I just don't think it is like double better than us. You know, we're talking like it's 100% better than St. Louis, and I think that's crazy. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Let us know what you think. 314-436-7900. We've got a lot coming up on the show today. Mayor Quinton Lucas of Kansas City will be with us at 10 o'clock on KMOX.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
For years, Gone South has been a podcast about crime in the American South. But for our new season, we're widening the lens. Through deeply reported, narrative-driven stories, we're digging into the myths, scandals, and power structures that still shape the South, and, in a lot of ways, the country itself. Follow and listen to Gone South Season 5, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck, taxed. Your property, taxed. Everything you buy, taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Each week during the Redbird Rush Hour, we put a spotlight on someone who's making the community better using sports. It's building community with Busey Bank beyond the game. Join us this week for another story of someone who's finding a way to make a big impact on the community we all call home. Brought to you by Busey Bank.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. I'll tell you what's going to improve St. Louis's image when the TLC show drops, The Double Lives of Suburban Wives. It's coming out next month. Are you familiar with this?
All the shows that are here are like weird, kinky shows.
Yeah, that's what this one's going to be about.
I know. That's the second or third kinky show.
So the TLC show that I just mentioned is going to talk about the people who live here who, yes, they have double lives. They have like OnlyFans. They have families, but then they also apparently do stuff on the side, like OnlyFans accounts.
So what you're saying is they don't have only fams, they have only fans.
That's
I'm sorry.
right.
Let's move on.
That's
That was
right.
a terrible
The
joke.
Double Lives of Suburban Wives. It comes out August 9th. Let us know what you think about the discussion we just had. 314-436-7900. And Fran is in Jeffco with us on KMOX. Good morning, Fran.
Good morning.
What's up?
Well, I feel that, the bad press where the little girl lost her legs because of the traffic, the guy that was running around in the car. And I was involved in a hit and run, and they have yet to catch her, even though I gave them a description and a license plate. They ran the plates while he was there, the officer, after waiting 45 minutes because he had 8 other calls on his call schedule, just him. And he's like, oh, she's out in Florissant. We don't go out there to get them. So it's just like, if you start reeling in all of these people that are running the red lights and swerving in and out of traffic, maybe people feel a little bit safer to come to St. Louis. Even locally, people are like, I'm not going down there to have fun and come out and have my windows smashed. There's, it's you got to fix that. You got to get the locals liking St. Louis before you can get anybody else to like them, basically.
So that's okay. And I understand that you do have experiences, but my issue is that people conflate one experience that they had and say, well, that's the entire city. And no, I can't take that away from you if you were involved in a hit and run here and that's not solved. And I'm sorry that happened. I've lived in the city for almost a decade now. I've had none of that. I've had no hit and run. I've had no windows smashed. I've parked downtown. I've parked at Cardinals games. I've parked at Blues games. I've parked down here for concerts. I have not had that experience. So I guess the problem we have is incidents do happen in cities around the country. And the problem we seem to have is, more than a lot of other places, if we see it happen once, our assumption is, well, that's all it ever is down there. You're going to go downtown, you're going to get shot. Well, I've not been shot. I live in the city all the time. I do think it's the Where's Waldo thing of, yes, cities have crime, but are they vibrant? Are they thriving? Are there a ton of people walking around, a ton of people using public transportation, a ton of people filling up the office buildings? And when the answer is no, then the crime will always filter to the top as the top story, because that is what happened downtown today. There's a reason companies like Peabody, which have been here for decades, they're tired of getting their windows shot out. There are always plywood in the Peabody building. You could look up, you could always see plywood, and they're moving out. There's a reason why Fleischman Hillard, after 70-something years downtown, is moving out of the city. And so I agree that it's like, yes, cities deal with crime, but there's also the aspect of cities like Chicago and, yes, Indianapolis have people in their downtown. And I did say this earlier with Indianapolis. You brought up that Indianapolis has a football team. Yes, but so does Kansas City, and Indianapolis is way ahead of Kansas City. It just is. And Kansas City has a football team. So yes, the Colts play a role in Indianapolis, but it's also, like we said, somehow the people in Indianapolis are rowing in the same direction. And we don't even have that within the city, much less within the city and the surrounding counties. And I'm not sure that there's an appetite to get there. Wentzville, Jill is with us on KMOX. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
What's up?
We just moved here a year ago. We have grandchildren in O'Fallon and a daughter. And our daughter went to UMSL. We lived outside of Indianapolis for over 40 years. And we loved going downtown Indianapolis. We went to Pacer games. We went to dinner, lots of restaurants. We've seen it change as far as there were places to shop down there. There was a mall attached to the convention center that was great. It has gone down. They don't have any stores, but supposedly they are going to revamp it. We've been downtown a couple of times here, but not very often. We went for a volleyball tournament. We went for a dance competition. We've been to Cardinals games. But I have noticed a difference, as she said. There aren't a lot of people walking around and just, I don't know. There was a difference.
Yeah.
It's not that I felt unsafe. We have had people say, oh, be careful, that kind of thing. We went to a fabulous concert at the Sheldon Saturday night, and had a great time there. But there is some kind of difference, and I don't know. There seems to be restaurants and things, but I just didn't see the number of people walking around except at Ballpark Village.
Yeah, I mean that's really been the reality of the city. There just isn't a whole lot going on down here.
Yes.
I mean, that's been true since I moved back.
And that's my point. That's why, I'm glad, like you said, you've never gotten shot, but that's not really the argument we're having.
Well, that's what Fran said. Fran said if you come down here, your property is going to get broken into, you're going to get T-boned, you're probably going to get shot or have your legs cut off.
Which is not totally untrue. I mean, I know that didn't happen to you, but it's happened to people in this building.
Well,
it's happened
here's the point
to
I'm making.
friends. And I'm just saying,
Amy,
it's where are we thriving?
The point I'm making with that is the odds of things happening to you when you come down here are very, very, very low. Yes, it does happen. But the thousands of people that come down here, there are a lot of people who work in this building, nothing has happened to them.
So
that's the point I'm making, is that we have this risk assessment, like if you go to St. Louis City, there is a 50% chance you're going to be mugged.
Right, but I think we're having two different conversations in the sense that two things can be true. You're right. I have not gotten shot either. And I work down here every day, a lot of times twice a day. And Indianapolis can be way ahead of us as far as how they're thriving. Both of those things can be true.
I'm going by what the caller Fran said. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. When we come back, we will talk to the communications director for Missourians for Fair Taxation. We'll talk about Amendment 5. And Scott Charton is an opponent of Amendment 5, which is on the ballot coming up in early August. And we'll have that conversation in just a moment. Well, how about daily dingers? Yep. Has been doing for a long time. In fact, for every game this season, every single day, you can be involved with Daily Dingers. And here's how it works. All you have to do is go to the FanDuel app and you decide who you think is going to hit a home run in the game. So the Cardinals have a game today at 3 o'clock. You think someone's going to homer? You think it's going to be Jordan Walker? Well, if it is, you can claim that bet, and you will get a bonus bet as a result. It's totally free to be involved. You don't really have to pay anything at this point, but you can get that free pick of who you think is going to win. Get a home run. You're going to get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Just another reason that FanDuel is the home of home runs. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to sign up if you haven't yet. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Opt in for Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who will hit a home run today. Play ball, swing for the fences on FanDuel, official partner of MLB. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Every day starts the same way, and then it goes wherever it wants.
Life doesn't stop for Cardinals baseball. It just kind of runs alongside it. Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. We're talking real life, real stuff, and yes, a lot of Cardinals along the way, because that's how fans actually live it. It's just like happy hour, man. We get together every day from 1 to 5. We have fun, we laugh, we commiserate, we complain. DGS 1 to 5.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. And then Cardinals baseball.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
74 degrees. I think it's a beautiful morning out there. Sunshine mixing with clouds and way less humid. A high of 81. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 62. Weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The amendment talk continues this week. It's been a real amendment-heavy week for us, Ronj. Amendment
Dude, I
4,
love amendments.
Amendment 5 here in Missouri. We spoke a couple of days ago with Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway about Amendment 5, which she is a supporter of. And we welcome in now the other side of the conversation, Scott Charton. He is the Communications Director for Missourians for Fair Taxation, Missourians for Fair Governance, and Missouri Realtors. And he joins us now as we continue our conversation about Amendment 5. Scott, good to talk with you this morning.
Oh, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Chris. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you. And just to reset the table again, that Amendment 5 is the amendment that would eliminate individual state income tax here in the state of Missouri. And Scott, you are not a proponent of Amendment 5. Is that correct to say that?
Oh, that's correct to say that. It's really, I mean, you know, it's an amendment, right, Amy? We know that to the Constitution. So that puts it in stone. I mean, that makes it permanent. But the politicians don't have to amend the Constitution to eliminate the income tax in Missouri. They could zero it out today. The reason this is an amendment to the Constitution is the income tax brings in about 2/3 of our state general revenue, about $8.5 billion a year. So if you take that out, you need to fill the hole some way. And to replace that lost revenue, the politicians need to raise and expand the sales and use tax. And that's why they want to amend the Constitution, because we have current citizen-led, voter-approved constitutional taxpayer protections that would prohibit them from raising new taxes without your vote.
So why, and I guess I'm asking you to speak for them, why would they choose to go that direction to drive in revenue as opposed to an income tax, in your opinion?
It's a great question. I mean, the reason is they want a license to ignore these current constitutional taxpayer protections that voters already approved. There are three notable ones, but I'll run through them quickly. First is the Hancock Amendment. Many folks have heard of the Hancock Amendment. It's been around for about half a century, and it was a citizen-led amendment that passed back in 1980. And it says the main thing we're used to is we get a vote on big tax increases. Then in 2010, the Missouri Realtors, who I work with, and I was working on this campaign, they saw a rising problem in other states of taxing the buying and selling of a home. So the Realtors proposed an amendment to say we don't do that in Missouri. You are not going to put a tax on buying and selling real estate. Well, the voters approved that with 83.7% of the vote. Yes, it was about a record. And then in 2016, Missouri Realtors built a coalition because we saw the coming threat of a sales tax that we've never had before on services we use every day. And that could be a haircut, a car repair, a doctor visit, childcare. And so the Realtors led a coalition of citizens that put that on the ballot, and it passed with 57% of the vote. So all of those are constrictions on the legislature, and they want a license to ignore them. And look, the bottom line is that gives them an open checkbook to pass what Associated Industries of Missouri says would be the biggest tax increase in Missouri history, and you won't get a vote on it.
And to be clear, with Amendment 5, it eliminates over the course of several years, the state individual income tax. But it doesn't say how legislators will make up that lost revenue. It doesn't enshrine like, oh, we are going to raise sales tax, or we are going to raise taxes on services. It's more of these are all the potential options of how Missouri would try to get back some of that lost revenue.
I mean, you just hit on one of the biggest problems. The state auditor of Missouri, when he did what they call a fiscal note to try to assess what's this going to cost, he just threw up his hands and said, it's unknown. It's the unknown that is troubling because, it's a cliche, but we are pretty stubborn in Missouri. We're the show me state. We're not the just trust me politician state. And it's all blank canvas. It is literally an open checkbook. So the lawmakers would be free to raise the sales tax rate on everyday goods like the clothes on your back or gasoline or groceries, but they could also expand the base to include the sales tax on everyday services, which could be, again, childcare, healthcare, therapy visits, summer camp for kids. Those are all services, and we don't now tax them. So it's a bait and switch. They want to replace the income tax, which they could do today, but the Missouri Budget Project estimates that just the sales tax rate alone, without expanding the base with services, would have to roughly triple. So the average combined, now this is state and local sales tax in Missouri, the average would have to go to 16%. Now that's the average, meaning there would be much higher taxes. And that's all without giving you a vote. And if they expand the base to include services, that is going to whack everybody. That's why I call it the everything tax, because it would tax these everyday goods and services.
Scott Charton, the communications director for Missourians for Fair Taxation, Missourians for Fair Governance, and Missouri Realtors campaign. We also have heard the opponents or the proponents of this, people who do want to pass Amendment 5, will say things like, if we do this, we want to attract people to Missouri. We want to attract those that want to come and live here. And if we get rid of income tax like they've done in Florida, for example, that would accomplish that. Is there no real argument there? Do you not think that is?
There's a huge argument there because the states that the proponents most often cite have unique characteristics to them that mean they don't need to charge an income tax. I mean, Florida has year-round, pretty much, sun, salt water, and sand, and they've got Disney World. And so they get a very heavy tourist traffic. Texas, another no-income tax state, but they have oil and mineral wealth, and that helps them offset it. But they have very high sales taxes. And Tennessee is the state they most often point to as their Governor Kehoe called it his model. Well, the problem with Tennessee is their tourism revenue is, I've read from credible sources, at least triple what Missouri's is. I mean, they've got Nashville, and we're not going to replicate that overnight. The other thing about Tennessee that's notable, they have much, much higher sales taxes, just about everything you can license, sales taxes on purchases and services and goods. And Tennessee, CNBC just had a new study this week that ranked Tennessee number 50 in quality of life. And I think the decisions that go into where do you live have a lot more to do with quality of life than just the sliver of does it have an income tax, because you're also paying the higher sales tax on services and goods that you use every day. One thing I learned that really shocked me, and I know St. Louis is a beer town, the beer tax in Tennessee is 21 times higher than Missouri's. I can't do that. I can't go there for working folks who just want to have a cold one after work. So you pay for it on that end. You know, the Budget Project estimates more than 80% of us are going to wind up paying more in taxes under Amendment 5. The estimate is the average Missouri household is going to wind up getting socked with about $500 more per year in taxes under Amendment 5 because of this everything tax. And it hits hardest. You know, in Missouri, we exempt senior Social Security checks, active duty and retired military pay and pensions. We exempt them from state income tax. So they don't get the income tax break, but they are going to be hit. Seniors and military are going to be hit particularly hard, and working class folks with income, again, they're already tax exempt, but they're going to have to pay the higher everything tax. We don't even know, the state auditor doesn't even know how much it's going to go up. What we do know is you won't get a vote on it.
You mentioned Nashville has tourism greater than, you know, any city we've got here in this state. But one of the arguments is, well, they didn't always used to be Nashville. It was Nashville, but it wasn't like it is now if you go back 30 years. So wouldn't eliminating that income tax, would that in any way help make any of the cities here or this state a better tourist destination, or no?
Well, it's quite the opposite. You think about it. About better than half of Missouri's population, wow, this is really true in the St. Louis metro area, is an easy drive from the state border. Now, in Missouri, we love to pick on Illinois. Oh, they're high tax state and all that. If I were Governor Pritzker, I'd be investing in welcome mats on the Illinois side, because we would have the highest sales tax rate in the nation. Here's where it really worries me, though, Chris. A lot of border communities outside St. Louis, we are the state with, I think we've got tied with another state maybe for the most states adjoining our border. All of these rural communities that are already struggling, you see boarded up storefronts, retailers struggling to make it. Now, if you're down in the boot heel and running a business, you're going to see business go on over to Arkansas or Tennessee or Kentucky. That we can't do to this state. And I just think it's a terrible step. That's why we're urging just vote no on Amendment 5. We need to protect taxpayers and stop this everything tax.
I had a quick question. What office did you say said that the average Missourian would pay $500 more with everything?
It's the nonpartisan Missouri Budget Project.
They
have gone in and analyzed it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I heard, the opposite, that, and the other arguments, which again, both make sense to me. I've heard different arguments, and I feel
real quick. This was for salaries of about $65,000. Was that
yes?
Right.
It's an average family,
Yeah.
and this is their number. It comes out to $535 to be precise, more per year that the average family is going to be paying because of these everything taxes. I'm sorry, Amy, go ahead.
Oh, no. And that's assuming that sales tax, taxes on services and so forth, and I'm guessing homes as well, is that number coming from assuming all of those things will be taxed?
Well, yes, but to be fair, Governor Kehoe, back in his State of the State address, said he didn't want to enact anything that didn't exempt real estate, agriculture, and healthcare. The problem is the legislature didn't give him that. They gave them a blank canvas. And so they're saying, trust us. Well, the Hancock Amendment, the one that gives you a vote on taxes, Amendment 5 suspends that, just puts it on a shelf for 5 years. But we've got to go through the 2026 election, the 2028 election, including a governor's race, and the 2030 election during that timetable. And so who knows who's going to be running things? We may even have a different governor. So you can't just promise these things and say, trust us. We're a skeptical people in Missouri. We really want to see the fine print, put it in writing. And that's why I'm advising folks, look, all these numbers flying around, the fact is it's an open checkbook. So the politicians don't trust you. You've spoken. You've put these constitutional restraints in place through popular votes. It said 83.7% said don't tax buying and selling homes. So they're saying trust us. I say trust yourself, voters. The politicians don't trust you. So trust yourself. Vote no on 5.
Scott Charton, Communications Director for Missourians for Fair Taxation, for Fair Governance, and Missouri Realtors. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and we'd encourage everybody, vote no on 5. It's bad for Missouri, and protect taxpayers. We just got to stop the everything tax.
And again, that vote takes place on August 4th. The election coming up also happens to be a primary for certain races here in the state of Missouri. That's Amy Marxkors. I'm Chris Ranji. We have got Did You See This? America's favorite segment next.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Hey, it's Brew, and I feel like everything in my life depends on being connected. Whether I'm uploading a video, hopping on a call before my show, or video chatting with my family back in Michigan, I never have to think about my Wi-Fi. And that's why Xfinity stands out. You get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
They say good things come to those who wait. Unless you bite into a Hot Pocket right out of the microwave. Waiting to see a financial advisor about retirement could also bring some pain. The pain of watching your money evaporate in a stock market decline. The pain of trying to figure out Social Security and Medicare on your own. Or the pain of writing huge checks to the IRS that you really didn't have to. At the All Financial Group, they believe the more you know, the better decisions they can make. They offer a complimentary retirement assessment. Find out where you are, how you're doing, and if there's a way to improve your retirement outcome. Don't wait. Call the All Financial Group today, 636-230-8824, or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com and set up your complimentary retirement review.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, ITW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed. Your property taxed. Everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
I'm with Mark Cantor of Cantor Injury Law. And Mark, why is it so important for you to be a local law firm?
Well, being local means more than just advertising here, more than just a billboard on the highway. It means showing up here. It means supporting local events and local charities.
But why is local so important?
It's important because we know the law, we know the judges, we know the roads, and we understand the community.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
You can count on Cantor. Visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, speaking of states without income tax, for the first time in history, Miami is now more expensive than New York City. It's the first time ever that the Miami metropolitan area has become a pricier place to live in than Greater New York. This is according to a Bloomberg analysis this week, along with government data. They said costs have climbed due to a lot of recent transplants who have been lured not just by warmer weather, but the promise of cheaper living and no state income tax. Cheaper living, kind of funny since it is now more expensive than New York City. Consumer prices have risen 36% for Miamians since 2019, which is more than any other U.S. metro area except for Tampa, Florida. The average meal now, the average restaurant check in Miami was $94 last year. It was $79 in New York.
Oh, man.
So Miami, but Miami...
You know what it is? It's all those yachts. There's a lot of yachts down there.
Miami workers, though, are earning $1,000 less per year than the median American. And white-collar wages are also lower in Miami than they are in New York.
So it's even harder.
Save money, move to New York City.
Amy, if you're looking for the next great competition since the World Cup has come to an end, well, have I got one for you.
Let's go.
July 30th, so we're about a week away from the Microsoft Excel World Championship.
Like the sheets?
That's right. So I didn't know this existed, but it's Excel Esports. It's a competition where participants solve unusual game tasks in Microsoft Excel. There's $100,000 in prizes.
I don't want to.
It takes place. The finals are in Vegas.
Okay, can I just say this?
This is a whole thing.
This is awesome. Do you think if you just showered and put on a fine outfit, you would be the most handsome person there?
Oh, easily. I just saw the world champion. I just saw the
coolest. You would be the James Dean of the Microsoft Excel Championship. That's so mean. You shouldn't say things like that.
I saw one of the former champions. He had that like Charlie Brown hair curl thing.
Oh,
yeah, poor little guy.
That's so sweet.
Microsoft Excel World Championship.
What? I'm going.
How did the World Cup do? Speaking of that, how did it do in Kansas City? Well, we heard some reports early on that there might be some struggles, but you know who can clear this up for us? The mayor of Kansas City, Quinton Lucas, joins us next on KMOX.
In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence, and the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans, and now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Google is looking to siphon off users from Pinterest with Google Images, a redesigned search engine that Google says is a place for discovery and inspiration, with search results returning photos, how-to videos, and even links to Pinterest. There's also a reverse image search so users can upload images and locate the source online, while another feature lets users know which images are created or edited with AI. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock. We have sunshine downtown. It's 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. U.S. and Iranian forces exchanged attacks for an 11th consecutive day overnight, with seemingly no end to the conflict in sight. ABC News global affairs anchor Martha Raddatz is in Amman, Jordan.
At the White House, our Mary Bruce pressing President Trump about what comes next.
Mr. President, there are no signs that Iran is ready to stop fighting. So what is the plan? Is the plan to just keep bombing until they give up?
There are no signs. Why, do you know something that I don't know?
Well, they continue to attack our allies and kill Americans.
Trump insisting that the Iranians want to meet, something he has said many times before.
Until they're ready to meet in a meaningful way, we have no interest.
18 service members have now died in this conflict, including those 4 killed since Friday.
Trump has warned that the U.S. will destroy one bridge or power plant each time Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices climbed another 3% today as the fighting continues. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth facing sharp questions and criticism from lawmakers Tuesday as he sought to defend the cost, $37.5 billion so far.
Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, a Navy veteran, rebuked Hegseth's leadership of the Defense Department and his, quote, utter and complete failure to win this war.
You don't have a strategy. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need to have leadership.
Hegseth responded by accusing Peters of playing politics with the war and having, quote, Trump derangement syndrome. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
An organization representing the CEOs of the region's largest companies is throwing its support behind a controversial topic, St. Louis City rejoining the county. The Regional Business Council's president, Karen Branding, tells the Business Journal that last year they formed groups to focus on tornado recovery, downtown revitalization, and regionalism, looking at governance and the relationship between the city and county. Branding says similar cities like Indianapolis, Charlotte, Nashville, and Columbus are growing faster than St. Louis and have much stronger regional coordination and alignment, and St. Louis is falling behind. A North St. Louis County restaurant cited after employees were caught on camera dumping grease into a stormwater drain. The Metropolitan Sewer District citing Pop's Grill, Fish, and Chicken for the incident after someone posted the video on social media and it quickly got thousands of views. The weather is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Quite pleasant this afternoon. Sunshine mixing with clouds. Cooler, less humid than yesterday. The high about 80. Mostly cloudy early tonight, then clearing up later tonight, though 64. Sunshine mixing with clouds tomorrow. Another comfortable day, high 80. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is mostly sunny and 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX, and it is time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line this morning. And with the World Cup just wrapping up not too long ago, we thought we'd check in with Kansas City and find out how things went for them. And we are joined now by the mayor of Kansas City, Quinton Lucas, who is with us on KMOX. Good morning, Mayor. How are you?
Good morning, St. Louis. Good to talk to you, Chris and Amy. And I'm doing well in the afterglow of the World Cup.
Yeah, so it looked like a lot of fun from afar. So I'll ask you personally, how was it for you?
It was probably one of the greatest sports and sports-adjacent experiences I've ever had. And as you know, in Kansas City in recent years, we've been blessed 3 Super Bowl wins by the Chiefs, lots of parades for them. The Kansas City Royals won a World Series about 11 years ago. I mean, we've had a lot, but this, in its uniqueness, in the cultures that came to Kansas City, how often in the state of Missouri do you welcome, 100,000 Argentinians? It was able to take over our city, our culture, our state in ways I don't think we ever imagined before. So I had a blast.
All right, I'm going to discount the success of the Kansas City sports that you just listed. I'll set that aside, not take it personally or anything. But, I will ask you this. How was it with the burden? Like, obviously, it's great to have the World Cup, but also it's a big deal for the city to bring in security and transportation. And we've read a lot about the burden that FIFA places on the city. So how was that balance and how was that burden that FIFA placed on the city of Kansas City?
You read a lot of stories, and I know former mayor of Chicago was saying, we didn't want to do it because they were going to make us dome Soldier Field and other such things. Let me talk about the things that largely weren't a burden. First of all, Arrowhead Stadium has been around since 1972. Thanks to the state of Missouri, there obviously were some investments in the stadium, mainly around the field. But otherwise, you did not actually have that much of a cost, at least as to that infrastructure. Further in Kansas City, we have a World War I museum. It is much smaller, of course, than the Gateway Arch, but basically use those grounds to have our entertainment. And then as security itself, I just want to commend, actually, the collaboration was nothing short of exceptional. Local law enforcement in my city, the Missouri Highway Patrol, as you might suspect, Governor Mike Kehoe and I are of different political parties and have different views. That being said, I mean, it worked exceptionally well across jurisdictions, across leaders. It really is a model. And I said this at one point to someone from the White House FIFA task force, and I said, why don't you guys do the whole government? Because honestly, seeing an urban city work with the feds, work with the state, nobody cares about politics. Everyone wants to be safe. It was kind of the best of America here around the 250th birthday of our country.
So it is interesting because there are very few things. It seems like the opposite sides of the aisle can get along on. Why do you think it was so easy to work on something that was so big? Because this is a huge event with a lot of moving parts.
I think there was unity in the goal, of course, right? We knew what we needed to do. We had 6 matches here in Missouri. We needed to make sure that we had people coming in and out. And frankly, nobody wanted egg on their face. And I think we realized that if something bad happens, it's something where people are saying, oh, the mayor screwed up, the governor, the president, who knows what. And so I think that helped. The other thing was the incredibly strong public-private partnership. This wasn't just, taxpayers pay for everything, although frankly, Missouri taxpayers and Kansas City taxpayers do a lot. But I also want to make sure I look at the businesses. And we had businesses from St. Louis, Enterprise Rental Car, Purina, that invested as title sponsors for it. I think getting the fact that this was such a huge impact for our region, for our broader brand. And I think that's how you saw people say, let's get together. And let me just say this final point. It's like something that makes you happy. This is planning the biggest party at your house. You get to have people over, and although it can be stressful before, we all do them from time to time for a reason. And part of that reason is because, we like where we live. We want to show it off. We want to show ourselves off and our family, and we have the chance to do it.
Mayor Lucas, it's really interesting what you say, too, about how well it worked, not only how you were able to work with the federal government and work with, Governor Kehoe, but then also the private-public partnership. Was there anything that you learned or experienced in this World Cup experience that you think, what? I think this could carry over to regular day-to-day government.
I think there were a few things. We really engaged the public in ways that we hadn't done before. We had probably about 4,000 volunteers. Now, of course, you don't necessarily have that day to day, but whether it's, in your public parks and seeing people be a part of it or other major events, so much of what we tend to do is just say we have a plan, we're going to deploy a plan, that's it, it's public safety. And so I think, having more people engaged is great. It allowed a lot more ownership. And let's admit it. Now, granted, we didn't have tickets like they had to the World Cup final in terms of costs, but when it was $700, $600 to get into the door at Arrowhead Stadium for the quarterfinal match, it's hard to tell the public this is for everybody. But how do you make it for everybody? There was a free fan festival in downtown Kansas City. You had those thousands of volunteers. You had engagements all around the city. And so I think looking at how you can more broadly engage the public is a key step. The other thing is working with small and local businesses. There was a coffee shop in the core of Kansas City, and they decided they would be the place for Team Argentina. If you went by that coffee shop today, they'd be doing fine enough business, but during that, they took over the street, and I was like, what in the heck is this? It was amazing. It was crowded. I was bumping into like a lawyer from City Hall, older guy, and I'm like, what are you doing here? You are clearly not Argentinian. And he's like, I just wanted to get into the fun. I didn't know this guy left his office, right? And so that is the sort of thing that I think you try to do. Small business engagement, talking to more of the public, making that part of things. And I think that's how local governments can be more successful in these events we do.
Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas is with us on KMOX. In the early days of the event, there was some reporting from businesses that were preparing to have a bunch of foot traffic, extra foot traffic because of the event, and they were reporting that they weren't getting that it was actually dead. So what sort of ultimate impact was there on the businesses locally? Was it more difficult for a lot of them than they thought it was going to be?
I think that what we saw in business reports, and this happens in every facet of life, the results will differ for a bunch of folks, right? If you ran a barbecue restaurant in Kansas City, of which there are many, you were crowded to the gills for some time. If you had places that were in certain areas core to the city, you were. However, there was one business that's about 40 minutes or so, 20 minutes north of the Kansas City International Airport that said, we thought we'd have more people. Most of us kind of raised our eyebrows and said, well, you're a small town kind of diner. Why did you necessarily expect that? And I don't mean to pick on any business, but I think what we saw were people were different. I think that what you always have to see is that it takes real communications and marketing efforts. I had an intern in my office this summer with a Harvard kid, and he came to Kansas City, and I said, "Oh, how have you found places to eat?" He said, "I checked on TikTok for best barbecue restaurants." And I was like, I didn't know you could even do that, right? I mean, there is just a different form than the classic foot traffic we have. I think a lot of those reports, however, were early in the tournament and around like the first game. I think as you saw more people come, more fan bases, more people stay, you saw huge results, and some of them were just amazing. 800,000 people ended up at our fan festival in downtown Kansas City. Not unlike St. Louis, getting that many people downtown is a huge win for a lot of our merchants, a lot of our businesses. 650,000 people watch matches at Arrowhead Stadium on the east end of our city, and we broke records at the Kansas City airport throughout. So the people were there. I look forward to seeing tax receipts for hotels and others to see really how we did. But, you know, by the end of the World Cup, people were raving about it. You have people now who are saying, we want more World Cup.
You know, you brought up the hotels. That was a question because I know that FIFA really messed it up early on, that they canceled 75% of the hotel rooms they had originally reserved in Kansas City. That seemed like a huge concern for hotels. But I know there was a later surge, at least of some sort, with getting those hotels rooms out to people. Do you know how they were able to recoup those rooms and if people did end up renting out those rooms?
Yeah, based on more recent reporting, what we've seen is that hotels and Airbnbs largely recovered. I think the freak out for everyone, and I get it, is that FIFA, reserved all of these room blocks in very large major hotels in downtown Kansas City. And, all these folks said, all right, we're going to make some good cash. We're going to be fine. Then they canceled them weeks before once they figured out how much media is coming. And so the hotels were saying, we don't have reservations. Things will be terrible, et cetera. What you ended up seeing was largely 2 nights before a match, right? A whole country, it seems like, would come into town. And then they would stay for the one day after the match. And so you saw a huge recovery. I will note this for hotels on revenues they were able to make because FIFA had reserved things at a block rate. The hotels actually could charge much greater amounts when those hotel rooms were back and open to the public. And so, look, I get the stress. I would rather have a bird in the hand rather than 2 in the bush. And I think that was where there was a lot of anxiety. I think coming out of it, though, I've heard from hoteliers and also Airbnb hosts and others, they've been able to do pretty well. Look, we're expecting good tax revenues from this just from actually seeing the amount of activity that was occurring in Kansas City.
Is this the kind of thing that you probably won't know until next year, what the true ultimate economic impact would, is from the event?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, the way we're probably going to compare it is you look at revenues from this quarter of 2026 compared to the prior quarter of this year and comparable ones in the year before. You run a few other measures. That's how you get direct economic impact. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure things like the Convention and Visitors Bureau will have those humongous impacts that you see all the time reported and that people always say, really? But I think that's how we get our concrete measurement, and we want to share it. I think that huge events, and you guys have certainly had them. I went to college over in St. Louis and remember a Final Four there and other big events. I mean, they are the types of things that are a big part of economic activity in major cities these days. As you have fewer people in big office buildings downtown, this is a big part of our model. We want to see how much money we made, particularly as we compare it and we prepare perhaps for 2031 Women's World Cup, 2031 Rugby World Cup, as you all prepare for the Olympics coming up.
We are speaking with the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Quinton Lucas. And Mayor Lucas, we talk about the economic impact of an event like the World Cup. But then also, I know when a university, like we had our St. Louis Billikens, made it to March Madness, and the deeper you go in the tournament, the more exposure you have, and there's lasting impact because of that exposure. Do you know what kind of lasting impact that maybe Kansas City would look at regarding just the exposure of this many people to Kansas City?
I think that's probably, in some ways, the biggest part of all. And I know people want to make money. We want to make sure that we're doing, kind of that work. It's the sheer numbers. But, let's be honest, right? And I love my city. I'm born and raised in Kansas City. I came back after school. People in Paris aren't talking about Kansas City every day, if ever, right? And they're not necessarily in all these spaces. And we've seen it sometimes as a business challenge issue where people say, all right, your place seems interesting, price point's good, but I know how to get to New York. right? And I have all these flights that can get me there, and I have that sort of connection, and I can center it. And instead of, as I've used to have to do in the past, saying, oh, Kansas City, you know, we're not that far from Chicago, I have the chance of actually saying, oh, yeah, you saw us. You saw people here. I met business people really from almost every single country that played here, from Switzerland, Argentina, Ghana, and beyond. And so that is a huge marketing play. And just like, as you know, just like how in intercollegiate athletics, right, we all know Alabama has a great football team, even if we're not necessarily going to Gulf Shores, Alabama for every vacation, right? You start to build this familiarity with it. You know about Michigan through really it's college sports, and you learn more about the state and all the activities there. I think that is something that we really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of. The one small wrinkle is that a lot of people from abroad were saying, you're the mayor of Kansas, which I couldn't tell if that was a promotion or inaccurate or whatever, but we need to make sure, and I know Governor Kehoe's on it, how we brand Missouri just a bit more in connection with some of it.
We know the Chiefs announced they are moving to Kansas after the 2030 season. The Royals are in the process of trying to get a new stadium on the Missouri side. So what is the latest on that?
Yeah, so the Royals, I think their project is moving exceptionally well. You look at, we have a zoning meeting, a good classic neighborhood meeting soon. The public has responded well to this deal at a time when the public doesn't really respond great to stadium developments. I get the controversies and talks about billionaires, but I think the Royals are looking at a great project. It'll also allows us to keep the world headquarters of Hallmark in downtown Kansas City, Hallmark, the greeting card company. So that's a win for Kansas City, a win for downtown, proud to be part of the project. As for the Chiefs, look, I think Arrowhead Stadium, and you saw it on television, is one of the best venues to watch professional sports anywhere in the world. That was proven out by FIFA recently. I know that they continue to think about that deal, but let me give you a fact that you may not have heard, right? The Missouri offer, which is fair for a critic of sports incentives to say was ridiculous itself, was going to be $1.8 billion in state and local incentives to keep the Chiefs in Kansas City, Missouri. The state of Kansas went with a $2.8 billion, nearly $3 billion incentive, and I would suggest, and rising, because they're pledging a third of the state sales taxes in the state of Kansas just about to support the project. They're pledging amazing amounts. They'll likely have to back the bonds. You know, it's the sort of deal where I would love to see the Chiefs stay here. They stay in the metro area, which is a positive. And I think what I would say is we'll see how the rest of the deal actually works out. I still think there is maybe a snowball's chance, but a small chance that, sanity comes to it. They stay at Arrowhead. We get a good renovation, and we continue to have great football traditions here in the state of Missouri.
Mayor Quinton Lucas of Kansas City, we appreciate your time. We'd love to have you on again because we know we have similar cities here in St. Louis and Kansas City in terms of size and, it being in the same state. And we have, I think, some similar challenges. So it'd be nice to have a conversation about that down the road if you're down for it.
I look forward to it anytime. All I need to make sure we do is your baseball is back to being much better. We got to work on that before I talk to you again.
All right, well, working on that, and you should rest assured knowing that you will not have to worry about planning any more Super Bowl parades because the Bears are coming. So, sorry that party's over for you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Fingers crossed for you. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, Mayor Lucas. That is Mayor Quinton Lucas of Kansas City with us on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Brew. Between my radio show, filming content, editing videos, and trying to stay connected with family, reliable Wi-Fi isn't really optional anymore. I just need it to work. That's why I like that with Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years, guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, Xfinity makes getting connected simple with same-day Wi-Fi so you can get online in minutes. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, effectively ending our power to stop corrupt and out-of-control politicians.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair government.
The financial industry is getting rich on baby boomers. Don't be their next victim. Find out the truth of what's really going on in the retirement industry. Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Bro, I got to tell you something. For the life of me, and this is a multi-year problem. This might be a 15 to 20-year problem for me.
Wow.
I bet I have spent $1 million.
That's a lot.
Literal $1 million.
Wow.
Trying to find a pillow that works for me. I cannot.
Really?
I cannot.
So you've had a cramped neck for 20 years?
I got a cramped neck today. You know, I know this is my little problem, but man, oh man.
But you're going to hear about it.
Does anybody else have an issue finding a good pillow? I just cannot. No matter.
I swear, I have the worst pillow in town.
That's no joke. It is the way. It's
What's
so
wrong with your
bad.
pillow? Is it lumpy?
No, it's not. It's one of those. I don't even know how to describe it. It was an expensive pillow too.
Lumpy pillows kiss my ass.
It's not a my. I will not get a my pillow.
No, they're not lumpy pillows. That's not what they call on.
It's not.
Maybe.
Put that in your book.
Yeah, but you know what?
Put that in your book.
What if the My Pillow is
Clown.
your answer? What if I told you right now that the pillow of your dreams, the pillow you have been searching for 2 decades, is the My Pillow? You'd buy it.
I might. You know what? I'll
Can
go
you
to
buy
eBay.
it?
No, I'll go to eBay. Get it secondhand.
No,
kiss my ass.
I'm not giving Mike Lindell any more
Don't
money.
get it secondhand. You're going to get
He
secondhand
needs all
lice.
the money he can get because he has to pay. He has to pay the Dominion
How much is a
voting
My
people.
Pillow? It's expensive, right?
I don't know. I thought they were expensive.
I think we should go in will help you.
Yeah.
Buy a MyPillow, and
just-
you
no
have to
matter-
give it a true test.
No matter what I do, Tempur-Pedic, memory foam,
314-436-7900 to help solve Ranja's very boring but very personal problem. Matt had a suggestion that I have actually heard before, and I heard it from an actress who has the money to buy any pillow she wants. Matt?
IKEA. I got my pillow at IKEA. It's one of these, I think it's a controversial pillow because nobody likes it except me. It's super firm. It fills up pretty much all the space between, if you're laying on your side, your shoulder and the bed and your neck. It's like your head is definitely elevated. So if you're not into that, it's not a great pillow.
If you're not into that, you make it sound.
I don't know if I'm into that.
Well,
yeah,
I think it's
that might
great.
be my problem.
It's like a memory foam. You put your head down and it sort of like
I
fills
tried
back
a
up.
memory foam.
Yeah.
Those are hard.
Does it have a curve sort of thing?
No.
Where your neck is? Okay.
I've heard IKEA pillows are great. Is this us getting old? Because I don't
has
like
to
to
be.
drive at night anymore.
Oh my God, you're my mother.
Your mom and I have so much
You're
in common.
literally my mother.
It's unbelievable how much we have in common. We are best friends.
I can't.
We're best friends.
I got to figure something out here.
A classic MyPillow is $30. A premium MyPillow is $50.
That's not bad.
What's the lumpy one? How much is the
How
lumpy
much
one
is the
cost?
lumpy?
That one's $60.
Oh.
You could buy a children's Bible story pillowcase for an additional $25.
Wait a minute. So there's a Bible story on the pillow, like you can read it?
No, it's like a picture of Noah's Ark.
Oh, okay.
And some other scenes.
All right.
Someone said we always paint, Noah's Ark in kids' rooms as if it's this sweet story, but really it's God's greatest act of judgment. He was like, why don't you? He goes, okay, I'll draw a giraffe. You draw some screaming people.
A texter says I should try the bamboo pillow from Kohl's. I've tried a bamboo
Oh.
pillow. Not good.
Really?
Yep.
Bamboo?
This
Isn't
texter
it pokey?
It's not like that. This texter says I had a bamboo mattress at one point.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a memory foam.
Yeah.
I get my pillows from Aldi, cheap and good.
I didn't know all these soap pillows.
Yeah. And this person's telling me the pillows are like baseball gloves. You got to break them in. You think I don't know that? I'm talking about years of pillows. The pillow I'm using, I've been using for like 2 years. It just doesn't work. Oh, man,
I think
I'm
you need
dying
to
over
try
here.
the IKEA and MyPillow, the lumpy MyPillows. It might be the lump you need.
I am not buying a MyPillow.
Ron,
If Mike Lindell shows up here and personally gifts me one, then maybe I'll
you're
take
not
it.
hurting him by not buying it. Buy it and get some good sleep and make us happier because you're not so crabby all the time.
Kiss my ass.
Let's talk some. Speaking of crabby,
Put that in your book.
Cardinals have lost 4 in a row.
Ugh.
It's not looking good right now. John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals, joins us next on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. When Cardinals fans want to talk baseball, they turn to the Gas House Gang. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklas bring insights, analysis, and opinions that fuel the conversation. And every Tuesday, Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol pulls back the curtain on his decisions and his team's performance. The Gas House Gang is the sports show sports fans can't miss. Hear it weekdays at noon on your home for the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I
by Von Dross for Congress.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
The best morning we've had in a while. 78 degrees right now. Sunshine mixing with clouds today. Less humid, a high of 81. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 62. Weather sponsored by i3 Broadband. With the kids home for the summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. Switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
So much to love about summer, longer days, backyard barbecues, but if you've noticed your air conditioning running constantly or certain rooms just never seem to cool down, could be your windows. Right now with Universal Windows Direct, you buy 4 windows, you're going to get 4 windows for free. You're also going to get 48 months of 0% interest financing, same as cash, 4 full years to pay off those windows. 314-334-2522 or universalwindowsdirect.com.
Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. Join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement with Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX, and get more at rickenfinancial.com.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Today, the Cards, the Angels.
Cameron Total Access 212. First pitch 307.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, the Cardinals Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got Missouri covered.
Left-handed batting catcher Jimmy Crooks out of Oklahoma. He swings and hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. That is a gunner for Crooks.
We're joined now on the Quiver River Electric guest line by the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, who is with us now as the Redbirds will finish up their series against the Angels today. It is a 3:07 first pitch. We got a 2:10 pregame show on KMOX. Then they'll come back home. They got a makeup game against the Diamondbacks tomorrow. Also a late afternoon game. John Rooney, good morning to you. How are things going?
They're going just fine. The weather here in St. Louis is lovely.
It is. Yeah, I mean, today is nice. It's been gross for a while.
Almost felt like fall this morning, comparatively speaking.
It sure did.
Well, the weather's better than they have in Anaheim for that getaway game today. I'm glad the way things have worked out that I took a couple extra days off.
How's it looking there? Well, they got rain or something?
I'm home. I'm off.
No, I know.
I've been off since Saturday. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad I took a couple of days off because of the outcomes.
Oh, the outcomes.
Hello.
The outcomes.
Nothing Sunday, gone.
Yeah.
Lead in the ninth inning, gone. 5 runs in the first yesterday. Now do you get it?
I get it now. Have you considered that maybe this is your fault?
Yeah. What if it's because
Because you're not there.
Why is it my fault? If I was there, they probably had 10 runs in the first.
I don't think so.
You're the good luck charm, and now we are realizing that, John.
I appreciate the thought, but I'll tell you the difference. JoJo Romero, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Not having JoJo in that bullpen, and you need at least 2 lefties in your bullpen, and you'd like to have 3. And against Arizona, they have more right-handed batters than left, but a couple of times late in the game on Sunday for sure, Ollie sure could have used JoJo, and that probably would have meant the difference in winning or losing a series. And now they've dropped the first 2 in Anaheim. It was a game that got away where you don't expect Riley O'Brien to have a lack of command, but when he does, he has those problems, and next time out, he'll probably be just fine. But It wasn't the case on Monday. It's one of those things where it's starting to add up, and I tell you what, a win today would go a long way to curing those ills.
You know, we talked a little bit about this yesterday with Oliver Marmol on the Gas House Gang. And, you know, you got a lot of young players on this team, and it is either the youngest or second youngest team in the major leagues this season. And, you know, do you worry about them, you know, especially the guys with relatively little major league experience, the 162 game season, worry about them wearing down? Do you see any signs of that happening with this team right now?
No, I just see some signs of things going south. I mean, like Jose Fermin, he doesn't really make errors or many mental mistakes, but he made one in left field on the ball that he should have pulled up on instead of going for it, and it ending up, it should have been a single and a three-base error, but it was an inside-the-park home run. And things like that started to add up, and then bases on balls, Riley O'Brien hitting batters. He hit one in the All-Star game, but to hit a couple of batters, including the game winner the other night, that's a little unusual.
You know, with this team being such a young squad, and really there aren't veteran players in the historic sense. I mean, the veterans really are the hitting coaches and Ollie Marmol. And I know, like you said, you've been off the past couple of days, but is it a bigger challenge for young guys to get them through a slide like this, or is it less of a challenge because there's some resilience in youth?
Well, if you have a bunch of guys who are worried about being sent back to Memphis if they have a week or 10 days where they go into a big slide, then it is a challenge. It's more of a challenge. But I don't think the guys, they feel that way. And that's why they've been able to bounce back from a bad stretch and then go into a good stretch, because they were able to figure some things out and then have some positive things happen and then stick. But with the roster the way it's constructed, with the way the pitching is set up, the Cardinals have very little margin. I mean, it's razor thin for a mistake or an error or for a bad pitch in the middle of the plate. They seem to be paying for all of that right now. But this has been a resilient enough group where they can work past that, because I don't think any of them really fear being sent out if they have a couple of bad games, that they do have some time to correct that. And the coaches are on this. I mean, they teach, they instruct, they go through things with the players every minute of every day they're at the ballpark. So this is a little bit better team to work with in that regard than with a team that has a number of young guys with a bunch of veterans, because in many cases those young guys would be concerned about being sent back to AAA and might let that fact overtake what they're trying to do.
You mentioned not having a large margin of error here, and this has been one of the better defensive teams in baseball. I mean, they've had miscues. There have been some things here and there that have happened and have happened recently too, but overall, this has been a pretty good defensive team, which is a big reason, John, they're over 500 as it is.
Oh, there's no question about that, Chris. Absolutely. They do not beat themselves often with their defense. And that's why, you know, Fermin, who's an infielder, has been doing a pretty good job playing in left field, in center field. He could play some right if he had to, but that's just the way the roster is set up. And for that portion of the game, they were moving things around, and they put Church in center field, moved Fermin over to left, and got Velasquez out of the game. And the way they were able to approach the starter on Sunday as an all-star and build a 7-0 lead, those things give me hope that, yes, they'll work through this. They'll get some positive things going. You just have to click in 7th inning on and get past that right now. And that was much easier to do when you had a pitcher with Jojo Romero's stats and his experience going in either the 7th or the 8th to get to Riley O'Brien. And you might not have to use a Soriano. You could use him in the 6th or the 7th, and you could use Stanek in the 6th, 7th, or 8th. But when a man goes down, it's next guy up, and somebody has to fill in. And with Scott Blewett, he didn't blow it last night. He had a couple of good innings. So I'm really, really happy that he got into a game and was able to get his feet on the ground, even though it wasn't a losing effort. He needed those innings, and the Cardinals needed them, and they have Hunter Dobbins going today to try to stretch things out, because they're in another one of those long stretches of like 20 games without a day off. They won't have another day off because of the makeup tomorrow until after they come back from Toronto and New York.
100 games through the season. Cardinals are 51-49. Just your overall assessment of this team this year.
Well, I like the way they fight. I like the way they play hard. Most cases, it wasn't the case last night. You can count on them getting the tying run to the plate in the ninth inning if they're on the downside of the score. And if they get Riley O'Brien into the game, or they can line it up where JoJo is in the 7th, 8th, helping set up Riley O'Brien, then you're in pretty good shape. But I think for the most part, they have been able to get everything out of their players, and I think the players have been able to get everything out of their ability to this point. They've made adjustments along the way. Look at Burleson, what he's doing right now. He was scuffling against left-handed pitching. Doesn't matter, lefty, righty right now. The work he put in with Brant Brown during the All-Star break down in Arizona before they started playing games again, that's really paying off. He looks comfortable at the plate. He looks reassured at what he's doing with his game plan. And Jordan Walker has had such a consistent year. Mason Wim was trending up. They've been pitching him a little bit tougher lately. But to get Church into a good stretch again, that'll be a help at the bottom part of the lineup. And to be a little sharper on the bases. Having Torres get doubled off in the 9th inning or the 10th inning of the game on Sunday, where the Cardinals were set up with 1st and 3rd and nobody out, that took them right out of that game, and then they lost it in the bottom of the 10th. That's what I'm talking about, razor-thin margin. That wasn't an error, but it was a base-running mistake, and they just don't have room for too many of those.
All right, John, appreciate that you get one more day off, but get back to work tomorrow. And if they lose today, you can't take any more days off the rest of the year.
Yeah, you got to stay up there.
Thanks, boss.
Thanks, John.
We're doing it for the team.
Yeah, for the team.
Have a good one.
Thanks, John.
John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals, and no, he'll be back tomorrow. But there is baseball today. 2:10 pregame show. First pitch at 3:07. They finish up in Anaheim. Then there's an afternoon game tomorrow. You need to know about this deal. Happy hour pricing all game long tomorrow at Busch Stadium. Beer, hot dogs, nachos, $5 each. There are certain concession stands, and you can find them by going to Cardinals.com. Cardinals.com/happy hour, and tickets start at $5 too. That is for tomorrow's game, 4:15 at Busch Stadium. It's a makeup game against the Diamondbacks. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Scott McFarlane is next.
At Missouri Farm Bureau Health Plans, your health is our commitment. That's why we provide high-quality health coverage at affordable rates to Missourians like you. And unlike other options, you can apply at any time throughout the year. From individual and family plans to dental vision coverage, our plan options are designed to meet your needs. Together we care, together we grow, together we thrive. Missouri Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us. Visit us at mofbhealthplans.com and contact your agent today.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry nonstop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour nonstop freshness, so you can smell unstoppable.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Chris Ronji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris and Amy Show on KMOX, and every Wednesday we talk to Scott McFarlane. He is the chief Washington correspondent for Midas Touch. You might also remember him for his work with CBS News. And Scott joins us on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, Scott. What's going on in Washington?
Good morning from a busy and somewhat loud U.S. Capitol. Thanks for bearing with me, Chris and Amy.
Yeah, hey, we're happy to have you. First of all, how did your wife like St. Louis?
Let me tell you, she's still talking about the friggin' zoo. The monkeys, the penguins. Somehow there were penguins on a 100-degree day that she loved. And respectfully, as a first-timer, doing the Gateway Arch, going around the ballpark, it was intoxicating for her. She really, really adored it and understands why there's so much passion in the community.
Well, that's awesome and great to hear. I have to clarify, did she go up in the arch or just walk around the arch grounds?
She went up in the arch, took the picture, looking downward. I think she's just ticked off because it was All-Star Weekend, so there was no game, but she loved everything about it.
Awesome.
Well, we love everything about the arch, too. We think it's a great monument. So we have heard that the president approves some sort of nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. What exactly does that mean now?
It may be an incremental step forward to, easing nuclear concerns in the Middle East, but it really is small bore compared to what he's dealing with in Iran. I mean, there is this urgent call this week here in Washington, Chris, for tens of billions of dollars more to fund the war in Iran because they haven't gotten all the nuclear material. And now we're involved in this back and forth fight over control of the Strait of Hormuz, which was not the case in February before the war began. I think there are still growing concerns that this may be a long-term, if not years long-term fight to get the nuclear material out of Iran. Out of Saudi Arabia, it's a step forward, but isn't going to change the calculus in the war.
Thomas Massie tweeted yesterday that raw milk ages better than a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. back in 2024. And I mean, I'm loath to bring up a Twitter battle, but Donald Trump Jr. did say, remember when they said Trump would get us into a full-blown war with Iran? Times like these should make us all realize how lucky we were to have Trump, his strength, and his resolve. And the community note simply says Trump got us into a war with Iran. So my question is, even from some of the more ardent MAGA Trump supporters, are you starting to get some real pushback in D.C. about the continuation of this war?
Yeah, I think that's where the rubber hits the road, Amy, politically. With 100 days now, just 100 days till the midterm elections, we're in this thing. And the erosion of MAGA support, any erosion of MAGA support for Trump and for local Republicans is going to come out in November. And I think the Iran war may be where there is some measurable erosion. I mean, we see it in the polling. I mean, the national polling has Trump's approval rating in the very low 30s. That's off of its high of the mid 40s in January 2025. That impacts midterms. Make no bones about it. It could impact turnout, mobilization of voters, enthusiasm of voters. What Democrats are trying to tout this week here in Washington, Chris and Amy, is they think they have an enthusiasm gap advantage. That though the polls show relatively tight races on the generic ballot and certainly locally, they think their voters are more mobilized because they're more angry. Whereas the Trump voters, the Republican voters, may be more dispirited because of the war and the promise made in 2024 not to get into new wars. This is everything politically for the president. If he loses a little bit of his base because of the war, a little bit goes a long way in a midterm.
Scott, this is with the midterms coming up here, there are certain races around the country that we'll be looking to. And there's that possibility. I think certainly Democrats are hoping that they can flip a seat in Texas with James Tallarico facing Ken Paxton, and that'll be in the general election. Do you think there seems to be a divide with Tallarico supporters and Jasmine Crockett supporters, who I think are not happy that she lost in the primary, and there are some other things that they're not happy about. Is there enough support behind him to really give Paxton any sort of challenge?
Great question. And trust me, it's the parlor conversation of the month here in Washington and likely in Texas. Even if there isn't enough to put him over the top in Texas, which is a red state, not a purple state, despite Tallarico's claims, it could still siphon money from Republicans who have to put a firewall up around Ken Paxton in one of the most expensive states in America to run statewide campaigns. That is money they would not be able to have available in Michigan, in Ohio, in Iowa, in Maine, in New Hampshire, other places Republicans want to spend money. So even if James Tallarico can't win, he can siphon resources away from Republicans where they'd want to spend elsewhere. I'll believe it when I see it guy in Texas, but State Senator Tallarico believes he's running against just the candidate, Ken Paxton, in battle with personal scandals against whom he can pull off an upset.
Are you seeing any pattern because there are so many scandals now, right? I mean, so many regarding at the highest level with the president and so forth, all the way down to these more local races. Are you seeing a pattern of what type of scandal sticks with the voters versus what type of scandal, no matter how big, just doesn't seem to resonate?
Oh, we're in the thick of it, aren't we, Amy? We have Nazi tattoos, we have sex scandals, we have mistresses, we have ethics issues. It seems like forever ago, but there was a congressman who was convicted of fraud not so long ago named George Santos. It just keeps coming and coming at you. Which one sticks, which one don't? We saw in Maine, the Democrats felt it was a bridge too far with their one-time nominee, Graham Platter. They weren't having it. We haven't seen that same self-correction among Republicans. Maybe it'll help them. Maybe it'll hurt them. What's most surprising to me, Amy, is Democrats are having it out right now, this family discussion of who do we want to be? Do we want to be a bunch of fighters who take it to Trump, who pull Trump against Trump? Or do we want to be people more focused on prices, on moderation, on doing the blocking and tackling of governing for our constituents? It's a decision to have this family battle before the midterm elections instead of after it. But I think that's what you're seeing, a bit of a divide that you characterized earlier, Chris, between James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett, a divide inside the party. Maybe it weakens them ahead of the midterms, or maybe it strengthens them.
Yeah, is there a divide with how left the party should be? Because there's, the traditional thought is get back toward the center. You're gonna appeal to more people if you do that. But then there are those on the left who say, we've been trying that and it's not working and we're still losing. So we need to swing back the other direction. Where do you think that is?
Now, we're seeing that locally, too, aren't we, in the Democratic primary for U.S. House seats in Missouri. You can argue it round or flat, but I think what Democrats see is energy, money, and galvanization among constituents and voters of people who are more progressive. The mayor of New York City, he's a Fox News, pinata, but he has a forming political army behind it. You look at the more progressive members of the party. Think about Elizabeth Warren. Think about Bernie Sanders, AOC. They gin up fundraising and energy, and you can't say that about all Democrats. But there's also a view, if you go ahead and find the most progressive candidate you can with the most quote-unquote energy in Michigan, you may lose Michigan. We have to figure this out, and they only have 100 days to do so.
Speaking of that New York mayor, it seems like the president likes him, at least when they're in the same room. So it's just a really interesting dynamic. Scott McFarland, we love talking to you every week, and we will do it again next Wednesday.
Thank you both, and thanks again for the recommendation on the zoo.
Told you. It's a great place. Scott
Thanks,
McFarland, Chief Washington correspondent for Midas Touch, and yes, his family did give the approval of the St. Louis Zoo, the best free tourist attraction in the country.
Mm-hmm.
According to USA Today.
Yeah.
That's nothing to sneeze at, baby.
Forest Park, the Art Museum, the History Museum, all of it.
Let's talk about the economy with Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports. And she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Brew. Between my radio show, filming content, editing videos, and trying to stay connected with family, reliable Wi-Fi isn't really optional anymore. I just need it to work. And that's why I like that with Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years, guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, Xfinity makes getting connected simple with same-day Wi-Fi so you can get online in minutes. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lendseek.
Google is looking to siphon off users from Pinterest with Google Images, a redesigned search engine that Google says is a place for discovery and inspiration, with search results returning photos, how-to videos, and even links to Pinterest. There's also a reverse image search so users can upload images and locate the source online, while another feature lets users know which images are created or edited with AI. I'm Jason Brooks.
My
name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
It is 11:02, and right now we've got sunshine, 78 degrees, a few clouds moving through downtown right now. I'm Debbie Monterey. Speaking to Asian leaders, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Iran cannot be allowed to control and charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz.
And if we create a precedent in the Middle East where a nation state can decide that they are going to control an international waterway, charge a toll, and if you don't pay them, blow up your ships, we have created a very dangerous precedent, which will repeat itself in other parts of the world, including in this region.
Of course, the Strait of Hormuz closed and talk of tolls began only after President Trump launched a coordinated military strike on Iran with Israel. Sounds like a sci-fi movie and probably won't help to quell the public's suspicions about AI. ABC's Jim Ryan says AI technology recently slipped its leash.
OpenAI says it's enhancing its internal security after one of its advanced artificial intelligence models escaped its testing environment, gained internet access, and then stole login credentials from a startup tech firm. In its own statement, OpenAI says it expects this kind of incident to become more commonplace.
As KMOX reported last week, the man on trial this week in connection with traumatic injuries to a Ferguson police officer faces reduced charges. Instead of facing a felony first-degree assault charge, Elijah Gant is being tried for second-degree assault.
The prosecutors, if that Class A felony first-degree assault charge remained, prosecutors would have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Elijah Gant intended to harm T.J. Brown. And the problem is the video doesn't really show that.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young tells Total Information AM the new charge could be easier for prosecutors to prove. Officer Brown has undergone extensive therapy since the 2024 incident. The Musial Awards are still a few months away, but we're getting a sneak peek into who will win this year's Stan Musial Lifetime Achievement Award for Sportsmanship. It is tennis legend and sports icon Billie Jean King. King will accept the award in person on November 21st at Stifel Theater. Tickets for the extravaganza actually go on sale today. For the 8th consecutive year, CBS will broadcast the event nationwide in December. The original 1911 headquarters of Laclede Gas and Light has been reborn. It's now the Therm at 1017 Olive. It's described by Oliver Properties as a premium flex office space designed for companies that need more than a desk but more flexibility than a conventional office lease. CEO Alex Oliver says companies still need places to meet, collaborate, and host clients, but this is not a co-working space. These are furnished private offices with shared amenities. The project is part of Oliver Properties' continued investment in the Washington Avenue neighborhood.
A nice afternoon shaping up for the area. Sunshine mixing with clouds. It'll be cooler and less humid than yesterday with a high just 80. Mostly cloudy early tonight, then some clearing later tonight, though 64. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow. Very comfortable day, high 80. For Friday, mostly cloudy. Look for a couple of afternoon showers with a high just 76. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 78 degrees with sun and clouds in downtown St. Louis. The weather sponsored by Scott Credit Union. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and military, this one's for you. Scott Credit Union's Community Heroes program offers special financing on homes, autos, and more. It's our way of saying thanks. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Usually on Tuesdays, we talk to Dave Simons. He is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, but we had to change things up a little bit this week. He's here with us today, and we go to the Quiver River Electric guest line and welcome in Dave. How's it going, sir?
It's going wonderfully well, and I don't have any problem telling people why I was gone yesterday because I brag about my new granddaughter all the time. That's where I was, down in Texas.
Aw.
She is angelic. She's the most perfect, I think, little baby ever born on God's green earth, and I'm not biased at all.
Well, you might have to fight with John Hancock, who thinks his granddaughter is the best.
And
So,
Sean Malone,
just
our
brought his
reporter,
baby in.
who just brought his baby. We are surrounded by babies.
And they're local, right? The grandkids for them?
Yes. They are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm jealous. Yeah.
Aw.
Ours is down in Houston, but it's a quick 2-hour flight down there, and they live close to the airport. So not bad. We'll take it.
At least that baby, when they come here to visit, they'll be like, hey, this humidity's not too bad because they grew up in Houston.
Yes, exactly right. What are you guys talking about? Rush hour traffic. This is easy.
Yeah, Houston is a nightmare.
It is.
So let's talk about earnings season. That's where we are right in the middle of that right now. And we're going to hear from, or did hear from IBM and Google and Intel. What do we know?
Yeah, and we've got some other big Mag 7 related companies by the end of the week. Well, so far so good, guys. That and I don't think the positive news is that unexpected, really. The expectations have been really, really high. What we've been hoping for would that so far earnings would even exceed these elevated expectations, and that is what's happening. It's really kept a floor underneath this market, and we need to continue to see that over the next couple of weeks. But, this will end soon enough, and then you get into the dog days of late summer, August, and into September, which historically, if the market does pull back during a calendar year, that's typically where it happens. And I could see that playing out. So we'll get these robust earnings, which have been terrific, and then a dearth of news, really. And Wall Street and investors will get back to focusing on, is the war still going on? Where are gas prices, inflation, and that fun little thing we call midterm elections? That's all in front of us.
So you were saying in fall, if the earnings are going to roll back again, that's when it happens?
No, the market,
The market.
the actual stock market. Yes, the stock prices typically, if they do fall back or decline during a calendar year, even in a good positive year like this one, if you're going to get some weakness seasonally, so it's usually late summer and into the early fall. And that's not to suggest that people need to do anything with their portfolios. It's just sort of a heads up that I think that if we get any weakness, it will occur then, just because there's not a lot of positive catalysts that will be coming during that time once we end this earnings season here in a few weeks.
Interesting. I guess, so like you said, it's just a lack of catalyst, which is why it tends to happen at that time.
Yeah, that's it. And you have, and this is really interesting too. I was told this when I got into the business more than 30 years ago, and it's been true all the time. You have your big institutional traders, what we call the big boys and girls of Wall Street, are taking these late summer vacations to the Hamptons and all these nice little places where they go. And so trading volume tends to dry up. And when that happens, there's another catalyst that might be helping the market stay stable that just kind of temporarily leaves in the late summer and early fall. So volume dries up. You don't have a lot of movement to the market to the upside. So you get this slight little decline. And once they come back from vacation, I don't know why this is. The big boys and girls, are they mad because vacation is over? But you tend to start to get some selling pressure that occurs in September and October. No guarantee that it will happen this year, but it wouldn't surprise me, only because I think your big investors will start to focus on other issues. And unfortunately, many of them are somewhat on the negative side right now, and we've talked about them.
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned that, you've got a positive earnings season right now, and the only thing that could really kill the positivity is the quote dreaded old bond market. So why is the old bond market so dreaded?
I know it gets really convoluted, esoteric. In fact, I'll even say boring. People like, oh, bonds, why don't even really care about them, don't understand them. But you got to know, bonds really do drive everything. It's the most sophisticated market in the world. It's the largest market. More bonds are sold and traded every day than even stocks globally. And what we have to look at are bond yields. Right now, today, the yield on the 30-year U.S. Treasury went above 5.1, heading to 5.2%. That's significant because it's the highest yield for the 30-year bond since 2006. So we've gone 20 years with yields under this 5.1% mark. But even go back down to the 2-year. The 2-year yield is up to about 4.3% now. That's also getting close to its 20-year high. If it gets to about 4.5 or 4.6, 20-year high. And Chris and Amy, that's really, really important. And I'll tell you why. And it could be a negative drag to the stock market. Think about this. You're an investor. You think long term, all right? But here near term, you're a little worried as you look out into the world and you see all these things that we've talked about before, inflation, war, midterms, all that stuff. And you're thinking, maybe I need to protect some of this money. Oh, I can get 4.3% guaranteed by the government for just 2 years? Well, why don't I do that? I can't get a guaranteed 4.3%. I can't get any guarantee in the stock market. I've done really well in the market the last few years. Why don't I take a little bit of profit? I'm not selling all my stocks, but I'll sell some. I'll move it over here and I'll just hang out for 2 years and get 4.3%. By the way, that's not a recommendation. I'm not saying people should do that, but a lot of investors now are going to start looking to do that as that yield, if it does move higher. So bond yields going higher will be competition for the stock market. And at One Private Wealth, that's probably the number one thing we're looking at right now are these rising yields.
Dave Simons from One Private Wealth is with us on KMOX, and Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO at JP Morgan. It is the way he spoke today, I suppose it was that not that he is expecting a recession to come, but he feels like we should at least be on the lookout for it. Why does he believe that?
Well, a couple of reasons. His comments made some headlines because adding to that, Chris, he also said, I'm sure you saw that he would not be a buyer of stocks right now. That kind of raised a few eyebrows. And he also would not be buying those long-term bonds that I just referenced, 30-year bonds. He would be buying the short-term bonds. So he's not a big believer in seeing some upside for both the stock market and long-term bonds because he sees inflation as probably somewhat problematic. Now, he's in a very large group of people right now. A lot of folks really believe that we have not yet cycled through this inflation scare and that the Fed may indeed have to raise interest rates by the end of the year. I'm not necessarily on that bandwagon, but I do have a world of respect for Jamie Dimon. So yeah, he's worried about inflation, Chris. That's really what he's looking at. And so he's kind of battening down the hatches right now from a financial standpoint.
I feel like I'm being reductionist here. So then is it fair to say that it is uncertainty in the economy and the stock market that would turn people to bonds? And then with the emphasis on bonds and they're not trading as much in the stock market might go down?
That's exactly right. It is a cycle. It's point A to point B to point C. It is that domino effect. In our little corner of the world, that's exactly how we do these things. I mean, we were managing money also back in the 2006, 7, 8 range, which I'm not trying to scare anybody, but the last time we had bond yields this high was right at the beginning of the Great Recession. Now, I do not believe we are heading toward that at all. But it got so bad, of course, that the Fed got in there and cut rates basically to 0%. And we've never gone back to these levels for the most part since then. No, I do not believe this is the start of another great financial crisis or anything like that. But to your point, Amy, this is where investors do start to have to make decisions. And what we're looking at is we've been somewhat defensive for a while, and we have not made any major changes here lately. But I'm telling you, if these bond yields go a little bit higher and we can lock in, 1 to 5 years, and we get up close to that 5% range, we'll likely be making some changes. We'll participate in selling maybe some of the high growth, high volatile, high beta stocks, as we call them. Lock in some guaranteed rates for a while, just short term. I'm with Jamie Dimon on that. We would go short term on our fixed income and bonds and not look to lock in some 30-year bond.
Okay, so before we say goodbye here, you mentioned that it might be possible, or it might have to happen, that the Fed raises rates, which is in direct conflict with what the president wants. And he just,
yes, sir.
There's a new Fed chair that's here and we believe is favorable to President Trump. So how's he going to navigate this? If the guy wants interest rates lower, will he remain independent?
Get your popcorn ready. This is going to be fun. I mean, seriously. And the Fed has a meeting coming up, too. They've already done one meeting, and I applauded Kevin Warsh. I thought his first meeting was handled very, very well, and he made it clear. If for those of you who think I'm in here to be President Trump's lackey, think again. I'm independent, and I respect the independence of the Fed. And he started talking at his first meeting about the possibility of raising rates by the end of the year, not cutting them. And so, of course, the media quickly went to Trump to try to stir it up. And what do you think, Mr. President? Your hand-selected Fed chairman says he might have to raise rates. And he kind of just shrugged his shoulders and said, well, he's going to do what he needs to do. So he did not take the bait. But if they do raise rates, you will hear from the president. He will not be happy. I don't know if Warsh will give in to political pressure, but from what I've seen so far, I've been impressed by the man.
Dave Simons, we look forward to speaking again next week. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a good week.
Dave is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth. He joins us mostly every Tuesday here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
If you're planning on having maybe some family and friends over to barbecue, hang out in the backyard, might I suggest you visit Rottler.com first. Give Rottler a call because I think one of the biggest things that can ruin a party when you're hanging outside on the deck, maybe listening to Cardinals baseball while you barbecue, are mosquitoes just eating everyone alive. It's the absolute worst. Also ticks. It's a bad tick season. Maybe you've got kids playing in the yard, pets playing in the yard. So give Rottler a call. They can help reduce mosquito activity around your entire yard so that you can really enjoy your outdoor space. Their technicians can identify and treat mosquito breeding areas and reduce mosquito populations for weeks at a time. The same thing with ticks. They're able to reduce the tick activity around your lawn by treating the problem areas and the breeding sites to just keep your lawn not just safer for you, your family, but also more pleasant so you can really enjoy the space you have. Get your free inspection. Visit Rottler.com, Rottler.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Each week during the Redbird Rush Hour, we put a spotlight on someone who's making the community better using sports. It's building community with Busey Bank beyond the game. Join us this week for another story of someone who's finding a way to make a big impact on the community we all call home. Brought to you by Busey Bank.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Built on a century. Focused on today. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Well, maybe you heard, maybe you did not, but at some point in the future here, might be a few months though, KMOX is going to be available on Sirius XM. Multiple Odyssey stations are going. In fact, like all of their sports stations, like their top 10 market sports stations are all going to be on Sirius XM. But it's
Would that include Cardinals games then?
So here's the thing. They don't have a timetable when it's going to happen. For a bunch of these other markets, the larger markets, it happens September 1st. But for us, according to Sirius XM's website, it will be available on the Sirius XM app, if you have the app, or with a 360L radio. I don't know what that is exactly. I'm trying to figure it out. I know it's built into newer cars.
My understanding is that it is satellite with internet capabilities.
Yeah, so it's like a newer thing, and I don't know how many cars actually have it because I believe it's only been available for like 2 or 3 years. But if you have a newer vehicle, it will be. And there's not a new or a set time when this is going to happen. For the other stations, it's going to happen September 1st, but for us, it'll happen in the fall.
There's not a lot of details, but it happens in the fall. But let's say it keeps going until the spring. Would you assume that regular blackout rules would apply for Cardinals baseball in the same way that the Odyssey app?
No, I think on Sirius, if you subscribe to it, you can get all the play-by-play.
Really?
There are certain packages that you can subscribe to. So yeah, that'll be a cool thing when it's finally there.
In other news, we have some audio. I think this is probably breaking. I think this is an exclusive of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's vows.
Do you want something real? Yeah, yeah. Will you always tell me how you feel? Yeah, yeah. Will you love me every day? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Will you bow your head and pray? Yeah, 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 yeah. Y'all like that?
Okay, that's not Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but that is a real wedding. That was how they did their vows. Ranj, I think this is what you should do.
Do what? That?
Yeah, like a rap song. Was it a rap? Is it a song? What is it?
It's not quite music, I don't think.
Can we hear a little bit of it again?
Yeah.
Well. Do you want something real? Yeah, yeah. Will you always tell me how you feel? Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like hip hop, I guess.
This is their vows.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
They're at the altar. And you can see, like, presumably,
who are these people?
The in-laws, just some people that are going viral because they thought they would do their vows to music like
it's,
that.
Rebellious Essence on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
Well,
how could you sit there and not die? How could you not die? If your friends did that, you went to a wedding, and she was so pleased that she turned to the congregation of people and said, "You like that?"
Yeah, I like that. Just double checking.
I'm just going to make an overall
Will you
suggestion
love me
about
every day.
about weddings. I don't need you to be clever.
Yeah.
Your wedding is not a show. I want to show up, do the vows, make it quick, make it snappy. Let's not be there for an hour and a half, and have a good reception, have good food, have booze. I'll bring you a gift.
I can't believe you are not appreciating this more. This feels like exactly the type of thing that you would lose your mind over.
No, I would die of embarrassment if this happened. Like the secondhand embarrassment of watching these people do this.
That's the groom saying, yeah.
Yeah, I know, and we don't need to do clever. I don't want you to.
I don't
and you know
think
what
this
else
is
I don't
clever.
need?
I wouldn't go straight to clever.
No, that's exactly
It's
what they
something
think
different.
it is.
It's yeah.
They think they absolutely believe they've done something clever and are entertaining their guests. I am here to tell you, we don't need your entertainment. You're not special. Just do the wedding, do the vows, get off the stage. Let's have a party, and then we'll all go home. I'll bring you a gift, okay? That's all I need from you. And in addition to that, I don't need you to make some kind of, when the wedding party shows up to the reception, I don't need some big orchestrated, choreographed entrance. Just walk in the damn door and wave to everybody.
This guy is a real curmudgeon, really leaning
God.
into it.
It's the worst part of weddings.
Is it?
Yeah, and then when people invite their small children, that's also the worst.
You are such a wedding Scrooge.
No, I'm the
And
I'm
you
the
don't
opposite.
like
I'm
long
the opposite.
services. You don't want
Nobody
people to have
does.
fun.
Nobody does.
Why don't you just get married at the DMV?
I guarantee you that 90% of people listening, you know what? I'll maybe 4 out of 5 people listening
Like
hate
all the dentists?
long ceremonies. 80% of people hate long ceremonies.
Well, obviously.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm in the majority
But
here.
you've got don't change the argument here. You
That is
also
the argument.
you don't want kids. You
Yeah,
don't,
that ruins the wedding.
you
And I'm
don't
also in the
want-
majority on that too.
You don't
Most
want people dancing the wedding party
most
in.
people don't want kids at the weddings either.
You don't want people singing their vows.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We don't need people singing.
I am in the majority. I
We
bet
love me every day.
I bet you
Yeah.
I am in the majority on all of these things. All of these things.
No, I
Don't
think-
sing at the wedding.
I think you should sing your vows.
You sing your vows.
No, I think you should.
And I will skip your wedding. They'll give me a reason. Oh, Amy's going to sing her vow. She's walking around this office
First
singing.
of all, your reason for skipping my wedding is the fact that you were invited because you love to say no and would
I
love
do.
to just say, like, even if it's something you really wanted to go to that I
Yeah.
invited you to, you would say no just for the emotional satisfaction of saying no.
Yeah, there's something.
You don't need me to sing my vows.
But you know what, though? There are just certain people I like to say no to.
What
It's not
about when I
everybody.
die? My dying wish is that you sing your vows
Okay.
and I make it public.
Yeah, all right. I'll do that for you.
What if you sing the eulogy at the funeral instead?
Well, I'm going to have John Hancock sing Grand Old Flag when I die.
They should do that for soldiers, not for you.
Grand Old Flag is not somber enough for soldiers. It's more of a party song.
I am thinking that I'm gonna adopt the Charles Barkley philosophy that he doesn't go to weddings or funerals.
Really?
Yeah. Just doesn't.
You're going to play the Carl Lewis. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Just not going at all.
Interesting.
I'm going to skip it. All of your funerals, I will not, if I outlive
I
you,
thought
which
we
I
were
probably
doing
won't.
each other's eulogies.
Yeah, we are. You'll do mine, I'll do yours.
Yeah, that was our agreement.
Yeah, I'm in for that. But I'm going to do it via Zoom.
With really bad connection.
Like a mega church pastor where it's a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I'll
just
be right up
watching
there.
the mega
Oh, yeah.
church. Yeah.
It'll be interactive too. There will be a comment section.
My funeral's going to
side.
be interactive.
Here's what I know. I cannot wait to make you angry when we come back.
Dude, you're always angry.
I'm going to make everybody else mad. And you're going to be mad too, trust me. Pajeski will even be mad. He's 26 years old and he's going to be mad.
27.
Are you
Whatever.
really?
Yeah. It was my birthday that you forgot this year was my 27th birthday. So it makes sense that you would forget how old I was.
When was your birthday?
June 15th.
June 15th. I won't miss it next time. Chris and Amy show. If you want to be mad about something, just stick around for the next segment on KMOX.
the thing that you need in the morning, when you first wake up.
Total Information AM.
I like to be informed with the news and like to know, like in the mornings, I like to know what's going on.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
It's always smart to know what's going on.
Your morning news and information.
The national and local news.
Weather.
Sports.
I like the traffic reports.
Total Information AM.
I listen to it in the mornings, so it really gets me going.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Congress doesn't need more politicians. For nearly 30 years, Joan Von Dross dedicated her life to helping students learn, grow, and succeed. Now she's running for Congress to fight for lower healthcare costs, stronger public schools, and a more affordable future for Missouri families. Teachers solve problems. Politicians play politics.
I'm Joan Von Dross, Democrat from Missouri CD2, and I approve this message. Vote for me on August 4th.
Paid for by Von Dross for Congress.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
81 degrees currently. Sunshine mixing with clouds. Less humid today. Finally, a high of 81. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 62.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door summer tune-up. Plus, score a free repair or replacement quote and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER. Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
When you retire, the paycheck from your job will likely stop. But here's what won't stop: bills, taxes, and medical issues. Sure, there's Social Security, but that may not be enough. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you potential ways to develop a new stream of income that can last as long as you live. Kind of like having your own personal pension. You won't have to worry about whether the market is up or down or who's sitting in the White House. You can spend your time instead on the things that matter, like family, friends, and doing the things you never had time to do before. Call Steve All today at 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 and schedule a custom income review at no charge. Or find us online at yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims, and in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Today, the Cards, the Angels.
Cameron Total Access 212. First pitch 307.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Gas House Gang is coming up at 12, and Tom Ackerman and I will talk to Randy Flores, the assistant GM of the Cardinals. That is at 12:30. We'll talk about the draft and all the young talent that has come into the system, and people around the game who cover amateur baseball and cover the minor leagues seem to agree that the Cardinals have done really well over the last couple of years of really bolstering their system. So a lot of young talent is down at the lower levels, going to make its way up here, and Randy Flores oversees it. So we're going to talk to him at 12:30 today. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX until then, or until 12. So I saw this on Instagram yesterday, and from what I can gather, this is from a physical therapist who works for a rehab center in Pennsylvania. And he's also an adjunct professor at Widener University, or is it Widner? I'm not sure, but it's he teaches physical therapy at this university. So my assumption is, because he doesn't clarify if the people he's speaking to are high school students or if they're college students, but they look really young. I think they are college students. Okay. He shows them a photo of Christian Bale. So this is him going around to maybe, 8 to 10 of these younger people who appear to be late teens, early 20s, and shows them a photo of Christian Bale, which if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you'll see the photo that he is showing them. All right. And I think 90% of people watching or listening to this show know who Christian Bale is. He's going around to all of these late teens, early 20s people and asking them if they know who it is. And this is a collection of the responses.
Casey, who is this?
Never even seen him. Never seen that person in my life.
Oh my God. Will Ferrell?
I was gonna say Tom Brady, but I don't think it is. Hold on.
You got it.
That's Dark Knight. It's Batman.
Yes. Batman.
I recognize him.
He plays Batman. I'm lost. Well, tell everyone who that is. Patrick Bateman. Christian Bale. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
So they got three of them got Batman.
Yeah, at least some of them knew it was Batman. One of them knew his name. And I get it. It's a different generation. I know. But dude, I was not completely unaware of these celebrities that my parents knew. I know how.
Careful.
This is a rhetorical how the hell.
Yeah.
But how the hell do these people not have any exposure whatsoever to celebrities their parents know?
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell? Dude, I'm sorry.
He was just thinking of names of people who are irrelevant to him.
Yeah. Bury these children in sand.
No.
What are we talking about here?
I know it's rhetorical, but we have talked about this because with technology these days, kids for the first time ever can completely isolate themselves to the algorithms that are curated for them or the artists that they know of and want to hear, not only without ever expanding out of that, but without being forced to be exposed to any type of music, literature, movies, or television that are outside their current 2 years of memories that they have. Because with on demand on streaming, right? They're not channel surfing. I don't know that those kids would know what channel surfing is. If you said, define channel surfing, they probably wouldn't know. If in music, every kid has their headphones on in the car, right? They're not listening to mom and dad's music. I had 5 stations and I rode in the family station wagon, which means 5 stations on TV. I know what the Lawrence Welk show is. I've seen it because it was on Saturdays on PBS. And I know Leave It to Beaver and I know MASH. And I've seen movies that I would never watch, like Earthquake. Is it the 1960s film or, just like some of those really goofy 1960s and 70s films? I was exposed to all of those because it was what was on TV. I was exposed to what mom and dad wanted to watch, right? I mean, that's how I first saw Star Wars, actually, because my dad turned it on. I remember I was young and he turned it on one time when it was on TV. And in the station wagon, I know who Billy Joel is, Roberta Flack, Supertramp. I know big band and Glenn Miller because my papa would listen to an AM station that played big band music. And I was exposed to all of that, which deep down actually taught me, hey, the world doesn't revolve around you, and people lived lives and the world existed before you did.
That is the problem with this. And I guess you could say, hey, things are different now and it's okay. It's just the way we're going, and they have their own entertainment and let them have it. But I kind of feel like it's not better. Not kind of. It isn't better that there's now a complete separation of generations.
Yes.
There used to be some
overlap.
Yeah, there used to be a little bleed into the next generation. And here's what's the worst part of that. The Dark Knight came out in 2008. So these kids were like, let's say they're 19 or 20 years old. I mean, that movie came out a year before they were born, or maybe the year they were born. I know about movies that happened I know about Airplane. I've seen Airplane a million times, and I think that it came out the year I was born. And that's just one example. It's it's almost like the younger people now, and I'm trying to say this without sounding like the old man yelling at the cloud, but there's something about knowing about things that happened before your time that is actually important because it gives you context. And it's not good that you can play dumb about everything that happened before you were 5. Like, I was 1 year old when that happened. I don't know anything about, well, learn something.
You know how every, we talk about main character energy. That's what they call it. You're the main character. You are the god of your own life, and how social media has given us an inflated sense of importance. Well, now couple that with the fact that you're completely unaware of anybody, anyone, any lives, anything that happened before you. What you know about pop culture right now, what you know about the YouTube shorts and the TikTok videos and the YouTube streamers, that's your whole world. And there's nothing that existed outside of that. So it does make those kids the center of the universe because their universe is so small. It's so myopic. And like I said, lest we're blaming the kids, I do think adults unleashed this technology on kids, which is kind of like giving kids heroin and say, here you go, try not to get addicted. These algorithms are made to suck them in. We have adults making algorithms that are made to be so tailored to whatever that kid shows any interest in that it locks them down in this really small myopic pattern. So I'm not totally blaming the kids. It's adults too. But you do have to be intentional as an adult now to expose your kids to shows, songs, artists, books, anything that happened before they were born.
Well, I think it's mostly adults because you can say, hey, we're going to spend an hour today learning or having you watch something that I know, and it's not going to be you on YouTube for the next hour. Like, that's just what we're going to do.
So would you say, I know this guy's like way older than Christian Bale, but this might be the first generation of kids that I've interacted with that have never heard of Frank Sinatra. And I know he's old. He's way before my time. He's way before your time. But we all know who Frank Sinatra is. He was such a big part of American iconography, such a big part of pop culture and his songs. And I was talking to some kids and mentioned Frank Sinatra, and they had no idea who he was. This is different. I'm not comparing Frank Sinatra and O.J. Simpson. I'm not. I'm just saying these are moments that hit me. There were some kids, and I talked to them about O.J. Simpson because I was referencing the trial. They had no idea what I was talking about.
That's
no idea.
That to me is that's not better. Society, for the most part, over hundreds of years has improved as we have gone on. We've learned some things. We know what to do, what not to do. Of course, we're not perfect, and we're never going to be. But this is not a development that is actually good for us.
No.
You do need to have some historical context. You do, even if it's pop culture, even if it is something as dumb as a song. I know a lot of music that my dad listened to or my mom listened to that was way before my time.
Ron,
but I know it.
It's kids who've never heard of the Beatles. If you bring up the Beatles, they'll go, maybe I've heard of them.
When I first moved back here, 2017, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, Jack White came to town. I'm actually going to go see Jack White this weekend.
Oh, that's cool.
But he...
Like hanging out.
Yeah, we're gonna talk.
I want to go hang out.
I did meet him once. Nice fella. He's
loves talking eccentric.
He loves talking about baseball. He loves Busch Stadium. He told me it was one of his favorite ballparks. Anyway, I was telling somebody in the office I worked in, and these were younger 20s people. One person said something to me, and it floored me. They were like, "Who's Jack White?" And I was like, "You're like 22, 23. How do you not know who Jack White is?" It's Jack White. The White Stripes came out 10 years ago. It's not like this is a band from the 50s. It's Jack White. And they're like, "I have no idea." Mm-hmm. And I walked around the office, and this was like 2018 probably. So the problem was starting long before now. Yeah. I mean, this is going back then. And I'm like, "Do you know who Jack White is?" To the early 20s people. And I probably asked 10, and 8 of them had no idea. And I was floored. I'm like, how do you not know who this is? Do you know about the White Stripes? You know Seven Nation Army? This is not an obscure person. And I was floored by that. And now it's gotten worse.
Yeah. I think you have to be intentional with kids, and you can't have headphones in all the time and let the kids, have each kid has their own screen, because, I mean, what's funny is this is how bad it's gotten. Being with like close families where there are kids that are 15 and 17 and an 11-year-old. And the 15 and 17-year-olds look at the 11-year-olds' entertainment experiences like they're an alien. Because the 11-year-old is even more of like the skibbity toilet like that, right? And is even more isolated as far as YouTube skits and so forth. And like my other friend who has kind of the same age group, 15, 13, and 10. And the 10-year-old is isolated from the 15 and 13-year-olds. That's how specific things are getting, where I think we have moved past generations and we're now in micro generations.
And I think I am now in a generation where I can complain about the newer generation's entertainment and say the newer entertainment is crap and be right. We're the first generation who can do that.
Will Ferrell?
We can say that now, because I am telling you now,
crap.
The YouTube stuff, the stuff that's on YouTube or what entertains young people now, 97% of it is straight hot blanket.
I know we need
garbage.
to break, but
I'm serious about this. I do believe that we are the Gen X, where I am, and you're older millennial. I think we are in the first sort of generation where we can complain about the new kids' entertainment and say that's all terrible, and we're actually
Here's
right.
why I would actually bolster that argument, because this is the first group of kids who grew up in an entertainment landscape with zero gatekeeping.
That's right. That's exactly right. Anybody can be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the algorithm is awful. I mean, there's just some real...
This is real old man radio right now.
Dude, but I'm right. I'm right. The old people who used to complain about, 90s rap, they were wrong. 90s rap was fantastic. This stuff is hot, straight, terrible garbage. You know what's not? Baseball. Major League Baseball is wonderful. It's such a fun sport, and things have really improved over the last few years. And there is a way that you can get in on some action tonight even, or how about even today? There's Cardinals baseball that happens just after 3 o'clock. And FanDuel wants to introduce you to Daily Dingers. So here's what it is. You make your free pick on who you think will hit a home run in their game. Doesn't have to be a Cardinals game. It can be one of the other games on the slate today. And if you're right, you get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Nothing to lose, a lot to gain. And don't forget, you can make a free pick every day during the MLB season. It's just another reason FanDuel is the home for home runs. So if you're ready to play your game, go to FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel.com/Missouri to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who you think will homer today. Don't forget to play ball, swing for the fences on FanDuel, official partner of MLB. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's a World Soccer Championship Team Spotlight, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Spain, world champions once again. This is a golden generation announcing itself on the sport's biggest stage. Spain's next wave has already delivered a title, and there may be more to come. World champions, Spain reigns over the globe once again.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Texter to the show at 314-436-7900 says in the early 80s, they were in their 20s, and their boss teased them because they didn't know who Glenn Miller was. You know, which is funny because I'm younger. I was not. I knew who that was because my grandpa listened to it in the car, and I was in the car with him.
Yeah, no, but I love old music, and I like discovering old music. I was saying I'm going to the record store, maybe swinging by Euclid Records to pick up like a Patsy Cline vinyl album and Joe Stafford. So I know I'm unusual with how much I like old things, but it's so important to just be exposed to it. And to hear the stories of other people, because it also shows kids that you're not the first person to have a heartbreak. You're not the first person to have a crush. You're not the first person to struggle in school or to have an argument with your family, because it can feel like your world is so big. You're the only one who's going through these things. But again, knowing that all of these themes, that we're all very human over the decades. I don't know.
One texter says to me, Okay, boomer. And I'm 56. This person is older than me. Called me a boomer.
Someone didn't know who the Eagles were.
Oh, that was the person who didn't know who Glenn Miller was. His boss didn't know about the Eagles. Like, how would you not? I don't. That would even. I think in the 80s, it would be even more difficult to shield yourself from other generations' entertainment because we all were exposed to the same stuff.
Because we just had fewer options. Like I said, I watched a lot of stuff on TV that I wouldn't have picked, but I watched it because it was on. There were 5 stations.
Yeah.
You think I wanted to watch all that Larry Rice?
I do think there's value to it in a larger context. I think there's value to having shared experiences because if we have shared experiences, old and young, we can find some common ground on some stuff.
Right. Because I find Ranj almost insufferable, but he loves White Christmas.
And I think it's insufferable when you sing all damn day in the office.
That is different than what we're talking
I'm trying
about.
to think about what is redeeming with you. I'll get back to you. By 9 o'clock, I'll have White Christmas.
A
Yeah, we
shared
both love
love
it.
for White Christmas and Bing Crosby polishing his shoes on the front lines.
We will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m., so join us. And if you missed anything, KMOX.com, Odyssey app has the podcast, all the different segments and anything you missed, it's all there. Or wherever you get your podcasts. See you tomorrow at 9. The Gas House Gang with Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji, next on KMOX.
Let me tell you, she's still talking about the friggin' zoo. The monkeys, the penguins.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by LendSeek.